if I can just ask you what you think of the three areas of emerging risks in the cyber field, please.
I think three areas, two of which are not insurable today and one which is. The first two that are uninsurable, the first one being cyber warfare, increasingly is hitting the headlines. And by that, I mean things like the Stuxnet worm that was developed, we now know, by the Americans and the Israelis to target Iranian centrifuges, speed them up, slow them down to affect their nuclear program. You only just heard a couple of weeks ago about the flame virus, that, again, suspected to be developed by the Americans and Israeli to hoover up data, to spy on Iranians and switching on microphones on PCs, for example. That type of risk we know is growing and is quite scary, and that technology is now out there on the internet. The second area is to do with cyber espionage. Very often you hear the Chinese accused of hacking in, trying to access trade secrets, intellectual property from companies. Again, difficult to ensure that type of risk. How do you value intellectual property, for example, when it gets out into the open? And then lastly, where certainly the insurance market in both the United States and in London is very focused, is on data security and privacy. And no doubt data breaches are getting a lot of headlines, and privacy generally, particularly off the back of what Facebook and Google are up to and how those business models are very much about monetizing data, and how the impact that's having on you and I and what they do with our data and who they give it to. That is an area of growing risk again, both within the US and the EU particularly, and how they regulate that. And as I say, is insurable today, and a lot of focus on that by the insurers.
All right, thank you. Let me just ask you another question. There's an article in our dailies tomorrow about people working from home due to the Olympics coming to London and the business interruption that might place due to travel disruption. Do you see that as a potential minefield with regards to cyber risk for businesses who aren't prepared for their employees to work from home? Or?
What that particular example throws up is something called BYOD, and it's becoming a sort of the acronym within the industry, which is called Bring Your Own Device, and where so many businesses increasingly are allowing employees to use their own laptops, their iPhones, and they want to do that. And of course that's more cost effective for them, but it does throw up all sorts of issues around security. How do you secure those devices? So that's what I would say. The Olympics is just going to, that in terms of people working at home, is going to throw more spotlight, I think, on that particular issue.
But ultimately, it's a good thing for business to do, you think, due to the flexibility it allows? I
think people want that. Increasingly, we all want to be able to do everything we can on one device, both personal and business-wise. And I think the momentum now is unstoppable. We're moving towards that. And businesses have got to work out how they're going to control that and secure it.